So when you're a beginner, one of the first open chords that you're going to learn is the C chord. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a basic open C chord, and I'm also going to show you a couple of different variations to kind of spice up what you're doing. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to hear more content, click the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified whenever I post new content. So the C chord. The C chord is usually one of the first chords that I teach absolute beginners. And it's because you don't have to play the whole chord to get the sound of the chord. You can play what's called a trichord, which is just 3 notes out of the chord. So to do the basic version, all I'm going to do is take my index finger and I'm going to put it on the B string at the 1st fret and play the top 3 strings. So I've got the 3 notes necessary to do a basic C chord. I've got the G note, the C note, and the E note. That's all that's in a C chord. We just repeat it on the guitar. So when I play a full C chord, I'm actually repeating a couple of those notes. So that's the basic version of it, okay, when we're first starting out. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my middle finger and I'm going to put it on the D string at the 2nd fret. Now I can play the 4 high strings from the D through the E strings. And then once I feel comfortable with that, I can add my last note, which is another C, and I'm using my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. And there I have my C chord. There are other ways to play a C though, and sometimes you'll see people playing it where they're playing something called a C add 9. And what it is the C chord, but they've added an additional note to the chord. So what I'm going to do is, instead of playing my C like this, I'm going to play with my ring finger, or with my middle finger and my index finger on the lower strings. So I'm going to take my middle finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the A string, and then my index finger I'm going to put on the 2nd fret of the D string. And now I have part of that chord. But if I play the B, that's not exactly right. So what I need to do is I'm going to play the 9th note of the scale. That's why we call it the 9th. And I do that by using my ring finger here on the 3rd fret of the B string. So I'm basically changing from this note on the C to this note . So basically I'm playing a C to a D. And this is the effect that I get. And you hear this used a lot in music. You hear that chord, the C add 9, used quite a bit. So when you're playing with that C and using a basic progression, let's say we'll use the C, F, and G. So now all I'm doing is going from that C add 9 to the G. So I'm really only having to move a couple of fingers. Or maybe you've heard That's Waiting on a Friend by the Rolling Stones. I'm basically playing C add 9 and F. So that's C and C add 9. A couple of chords when you're first starting out that can really spice up what you're doing.